Live and on demand from the WNY News Now studios in downtown Jamestown. This is WNY News Now.
And thanks so much for joining us on this Friday for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould.
And I'm Matt Hummel. Now at noon, or happening now, what county officials are saying about legalizing recreational marijuana.
And wild winter weather is expected this weekend. We hear from crews on how they're preparing. But first, we get a check of our forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter, he's live for us. Dakota, what's the situation right now?
Well, Justin, we've got a major winter storm that is on the way. And of course, this is that same storm system that we've been talking about throughout the week. So here's all the current data that we know so far. So pretty much snow will begin from this system. It'll start pretty much throughout the day on Saturday, and then it will start to uptick in intensity by the time we go throughout the afternoon. The bulk of the snow totals are going to come Saturday through Sunday as we're going to be in some heavier parts of the snow bands. And we're talking about dangerous wind chills Sunday and Monday. We're talking wind chills well below zero, possibly well into the double digit below zero. So it's going to be very cold. So the National Weather Service upgraded the winter storm watch to a winter storm warning for all of Western New York. This goes until 6 o'clock Sunday, and the Cleveland office has yet to upgrade for Erie, PA. They probably will, probably in just a few hours here. But again, that means significant snow is on the way. We'll take you through future scan very quickly here. So today, just a few scattered snow showers, nothing of a big deal there. Tomorrow, you'll see the snow start to spread from south to north. It'll start to overspread the region as the system passes by. Now, when we get into these darker blues, you can see that's the heavier amounts of snowfall. And this is an area-wide deal. This isn't going to be like lake effect where it's very localized. Everybody's getting a little bit of something, and then you can see the snow will continue throughout the day on Sunday, continuing into Monday. During the full weather segment, in just a few minutes, we'll talk about the projected snow totals, plus when will the system officially wind down with that Quick Solution 7-day in just a couple of minutes. Jay and Matt.
All right, Dakota, looking forward to it, sir. Thank you so much. With heavy snow and bitter cold temps in the forecast, officials are reminding motorists to use caution while traveling county and city roadways this weekend. Chautauqua County Director of Public Facilities, Brad Bentley, tells us that county crews are always on standby. In the event of extreme winter weather, he said crews will be called in.
We have about 550 miles in the county that the county is responsible for. When we get the volume of snow that's predicted this weekend, plowing is our first snow removal treatment method to get it off the road. But in order to prevent the snow from getting hard packed onto the roadway, we do put salt down when it's appropriate.
Now, Bentley said unlike some towns, villages, and cities, county trucks only carry a salt mixture to treat the roadways. He said his trucks use an automated system to determine how much of that mixture is laid down. Officials are also reminding drivers to give themselves a little extra time this weekend when traveling and be sure to slow down on untreated roadways.
3 people were arrested last night after they were allegedly in possession of almost 30 grams of crack cocaine and 20 grams of marijuana that during a traffic stop. Jamestown police say they saw a vehicle driving recklessly on West 5th Street. Police say the driver, 22-year-old Thomas Kimbrough Jr., was operating recklessly as it turned from Hall Avenue onto West 6th Street, where it was reportedly observed crossing over into the opposite lane. The vehicle then continued onto the West 6th Street Bridge and then onto West 5th Street, where police say the vehicle was traveling at speeds of 70 miles per hour. Upon the vehicle being pulled over, police identified Kimbrough Jr. and the passengers as 22-year-old Michael Pace Segura and 20-year-old Joseph Ludovici. Police say a strong odor was reportedly detected, which led to a search. While being processed in the city jail, police report that Pace Segura was allegedly in possession of 24 grams of crack cocaine that he reportedly hid inside his underwear. All 3 face a number of drug charges. In Chautauqua County District Attorney Patrick Swanson, when reached by phone yesterday, declined to comment on a report stating that a ballistics report was never completed in the tragic shooting death of Sherman woman Rosemary Bilquist. Swanson, however, does say that in general, a bullet is needed to complete a report.
All I can tell you about ballistics, Matt, is that to compare a bullet to a gun, you have to recover a bullet. And a frequent problem in many crime scenes involving a shooting is that because the projectile is moving so fast, it's not recovered at the scene. It's not abnormal to not find a bullet. Therefore, you cannot do any ballistic testing.
Now, Swanson did address another part of that report that stated that he never wanted to prosecute Thomas Jedlowski for second-degree manslaughter in Bill Quist's death. Swanson says that once a person is indicted, his office is always prepared to prosecute defendants for the charges that they face.
And we recently reached out to multiple county officials for reaction to Governor Andrew Cuomo's public push for the legislation that would legalize the usage of recreational marijuana. Chautauqua County Executive George Borrello says that he's against the legislation, citing the burden that will be placed on law enforcement.
With the legalization of marijuana, literally every police officer is going to need to have that certification in order to be able to conduct a proper, sobriety test to ensure that that person is not, who may not be drunk on alcohol, but may be under the influence of drugs, it should be, arrested and that's going to be an important issue for us here because that's going to be a huge expense, and it's not something that happens overnight, even if we have the money.
County District Attorney Patrick Swanson said he's also in opposition and he'll enforce the prosecution of marijuana cases until that law changes. However, he says he understands why people want the legalization, and his opposition is based on the burden of the law enforcement and his office. Jamestown Police Chief Harry Snelling says there's still uncertainty as to how his department will be affected if the legislation is passed. And we've also reached out to County Sheriff Jim Quattrone and Chief Public Defender Ned Barone for their thoughts. They have not gotten back to us yet.
Yeah, Justin, it's definitely something that one way or the other, it could have an effect.
Right.
Now, what I have found to be interesting is the fact that here in Chautauqua County, there's only 3 people that are qualified to perform roadside sobriety checks for drugs.
Right. You'd think that number would be higher, although I suppose when you think of DWIs, I mean, that seems to be, more traditional, but certainly now, I mean, even just on our top stories here, the drug bust that they've received in Jamestown overnight. So whether, knowing whether people are high, so to speak, when they're driving much, that seems like that will be at least treated as if you were DWI.
Well, but do remember in that what you referenced with that stop overnight, they were charged with the possession of the crack cocaine.
Right.
Would
that change if that would obviously change when they're...
We're talking about, Justin, the impairment, the ability impaired in this particular story, and right now, again, there's only 3 people that are qualified to test to see if somebody's impaired for any drug.
Right, because currently, if you were caught with, say marijuana, you'd get a ticket for it. If you were caught high with marijuana, you'd be prosecuted for driving while under the influence of X.
I'm not certain exactly how that part works.
But that's certainly what they're looking forward to continue.
Yeah, and George said in an article that will be published after the show, it's done, folks. I do my work. I'm just kidding. But
right. Matt had a busy morning.
In all seriousness, Borrello said that, look, if they pass the legalization of recreational use of marijuana, they're going to need every officer to have the training to test for the ability of impairment. And it could be taxing, he said, on law enforcement and on the county.
Right. And, obviously a lot of people are very much into this story, reacting to it. Samantha says that legalizing weed would help with cancer patients. Now, legal medical marijuana is already in effect in New York State, but in reporting I've done, it's very difficult for folks who have, say, cancer, or in my specific report, it was about a young man who undergoes seizures, to get on various programs where they can get that marijuana and they can get the THC drug, which is ultimately what helps give them symptom relief and seizure relief. Specifically, though, you're right, in a way. If marijuana was completely legal, like it is in Canada, you could just go to the drugstore, right, and buy some pills for it and take it if you have a headache, or if you can't eat because you have Crohn's disease, or if you are undergoing chemo and you need it for that. So certainly you're right about that, but at the same time, you know, the officials are right. It certainly will cost the county, or could cost the county, that's what they tell us, with prosecuting kind of people who, same thing if you drank too much and you drove a car and you were busted with DWI. That's kind of where that story comes from. You know, Beth says she certainly looks like she's for legalizing. She says nothing's wrong with it. Let's see. Cindy's talking about temperatures in the 50s. Cindy, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes.
Good afternoon to all of you. Dave watching as well. Wanda, Al, Chris joining us here on Facebook Live.
Dakota Hunter.
Dakota Hunter Rally is obviously watching. Al says, you know, it helps with depression as well, referring to marijuana. And Beth said it certainly could help with pain. And I think that's where, you know, everyone comes from, is the fact that Governor Cuomo wants to legalize it. But at the same time, you have to sort of weigh the pros and cons with it.
Yeah, and that's what both County Executive Borrello and DA Swanson said is the net positives and negatives. And that's the net positive and negative thing is something that Borrello has talked about before with any type of thing you have to look at.
Right, absolutely. So thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
For pitching in on the conversation, because I think, like, going forward, obviously it's not legal yet, but certainly as more people talk about it and more information is released about it, you know, we'll continue to keep you updated here. Coming up, Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. He has details on this weekend's winter weather.
But first, how one local institution is getting ready for the Doors Open Jamestown. Our exclusive sneak peek is coming up next.
Live and on demand, you're watching WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
The Fitness Bunker in Lakewood is a locally owned and operated club that cares about your health and wellness. They invest in it. Right now, enter their 30-day challenge, where for only $69, you get 30 days of unlimited everything. That's right, everything, along with 2 one-on-one personal training sessions. Then, if you lose 10 pounds, you'll get the next month free. Plus, the first place winner will get 2 Buffalo Bills tickets or a $100 gift card. Details right now on the Fitness Bunker's Facebook page. And welcome back to WNY News Now. Doors Open Jamestown kicks off this Saturday, and many local centers are looking forward to getting new faces through their doors.
And one of those institutions is a staple for history here in the Jamestown community. That is the Fenton History Center.
Center Executive Director Noah Goodling says, in years past, Fenton was packed with those interested in learning about the area's history.
A lot of people walk into this museum and go, I had no idea we had these collections here. I had no idea we had this history here. I had no idea about the furniture factories, or that the crescent wrench was invented here, that recliners were invented. You know, all these cool things that come out of Jamestown and that Jamestown has to be proud of.
The Fenton History Center is named in honor of Reuben Fenton, Frewsburg native and the 22nd governor of New York State, who lived in the home with his family. Goodling said that the museum is set up to mimic the era Fenton lived in.
Really, we want to celebrate his life and his family, but his legacy as well, which is kind of the growth and prosperity of this area. So, you know, out of the policies that he helped put in place, out of the attention that he helped bring to this area, You can also see growth in industry and the swelling of Jamestown and that sort of thing.
In addition to seeing how the Fentons lived, guests on Saturday will have a chance to catch the museum's famous Christmas decorations.
Anybody who missed our Louisa May Alcott Little Women display, they have one last final chance to see it. I promise you this time, this is the final chance to see it.
Another big part of Jamestown's history is the furniture industry and how it helped shape the town. At one point, the area was dubbed the furniture capital of the world. One of Fenton's most popular exhibits, funded by the Community Foundation, explains just that.
It was kind of the industry that really built up the town, brought all the Swedes here, or at least most of them, so anytime you meet somebody with a Johnson or a Carlson last name, you can probably thank the furniture industry for bringing their family here. And then we look at some of the memorabilia and some of the design elements that came about as a result of the furniture industry. It's really a fascinating exhibit and one that's really fundamental to understanding where Jamestown came from and where it is today.
Goodling explains it's important to study history so that you can know where you came from, but also where you might go.
If you learn 20 years ago, something happened that was very similar to what's going on now, and they tried an approach at that point that you were considering now, you can look at that and say, how did that work out for them? Are there any factors now that are different that might make that solution more conducive or less conducive?
If there's one thing Goodling wants people to learn, it's
what does it take to be a good citizen of Jamestown, to be a good citizen of New York State, of the United States, or even of the world? And having kind of a grounding in the moral lessons of the past, in the tragedies and then the successes that have come out of history, I think really gives kids and adults too, obviously, a moral compass in some ways on how to move forward in their lives.
And for more on the center and what they have to offer, you can visit them from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. Goodling reminds everyone in the community that the center's open most year long as well. To mix things up a bit, they're planning to do some trivia in February. It's trivia nights on Wednesdays at Shawbucks. For more information, you can head on over to their website as well. And he says you can win a couple cash prizes on that. So certainly trying to, I think, get more people to recognize the programs that they have going on there. And also recognize some of the history as well. I had quite a really fun afternoon. I did that story with him on Wednesday, and it was cool to kind of see a sneak peek about what they're going to show this Saturday and kind of what they're focusing on, and some good messages coming out of it as well.
Absolutely. And before we get on to our next story, Justin, I just received an email.
We have I guess you could call this breaking news.
I would say so.
We'll call this breaking news.
According to the National Comedy Center, they just sent out a release, and they placed second out of 20 attractions in USA Today's best new attraction in the country.
Nice. The NCC, obviously, I think they fought pretty hard for that. I know a lot of people were voting. I know a couple of our viewers who voted every day for that. So second place isn't first place, but good job, nevertheless, and especially for something that just opened later in the summer, I think. What do you know? What was first? Did the list say?
Let me look. I didn't see it. No. Well, what I can tell you while I'm looking at, I know a lot of officials said before that being number 2, especially with the cities that are involved in this, I mean, that's something to be proud of.
Oh, yeah, because these are cities that are on much of the national scale. Yeah. So certainly for Jamestown, New York, to A, make the top 10, and then B, come in second.
Provides notoriety.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not seeing anything in the release, Justin. I'll take a look after the show.
Yeah, but we'll have much more on that on WNYNewsNow.com as well. So congrats to everyone at the NCC, for sure.
That's right. And we're going to stick here in Jamestown, as a Jamestown high school senior placed first in a local speech competition. Grayson Holt won first place for his speech on a fine line between optimism and reality. The school posted some of the speech on their Facebook page. Take a listen.
Instead of being pitted against one another, optimism and reality actually complement each other. As optimism leaves room for the individual to be aware of reality, while still trying his or her best, regardless of the odds they're facing.
Now, senior William Carr placed second. Sophomore Jacob Ander came in third. The trio will travel to Lockport in February to compete further. Now, the grand prize for the contest is a $22,000 scholarship to college.
Ooh, pretty good, guys. So good luck at that. I know Rory called me out yesterday because I said that I asked him if he could work on the poetry story. He wrote that, and he's like, it's a speech, not poetry. So.
Oh, good golly.
Coming up, Norm Rodriguez with a look at some local sports action.
But first, Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. He has the latest on this weekend's winter storm when we come back.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Coming soon to downtown Jamestown, Pearl City Hops Restaurant and Tavern.
I have some real old-timey dishes on there that I'm just giving new life to. Like there's a shepherd's pie on there that's going to have some bison in it, you know, real thick hearty gravy. Then I'm also doing beer flights. We're pairing it with a set of sliders, a set of tacos, and a set of mini rolls. So everything's going to have its own pair, so you can get a taste of a little bit of everything and all the beers. We don't want to be known as the restaurant in the hotel. We want to be known as Pearl City Hops.
Invest in your business or cause by letting the marketing gurus at WNY News Now and WNY Media Company grow your business.
Purchase an ad much like the one you are watching now on WNY News Now's daily show, News Now at Noon, WNYNewsNow.com, or our brand new mobile app.
And then get feedback from our marketing experts and fans alike.
And finally, watch your business grow.
As an added bonus, Community Partners messages will run not only on our scheduled programming, but on weather alerts and breaking news as well.
Plus, messages are shared on WNY Sports Now programming. Anything from a live local basketball game to the Phone Zone Sports Desk.
Become part of our family today.
And contact us right now.
First Defense Weather is sponsored by Quick Solutions of Jamestown. Count on Quick Solutions for printing, copying, mass mailings, and so much more. Part of your team. Learn more at QuickSolutionsUSA.com. That's QuickSolutionsUSA.com.
First Defense Weather, the Southern Tier's only live and local weather source. Now, here's Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. Congratulations to the National Comedy Center for coming in second in that competition. Really proud of that place and really proud of how the city is coming together here. Here's a live look at Lakewood here. And again, you can see some of the snow accumulation that fell on the overcast skies. And that's going to be the case throughout the day for the remainder of today. But we actually did have some snow accumulation. Here are some of the snow totals that came in here. Faulkner at 1.5 inches. Also for Cattaraugus, Silver Creek 1.4. Jamestown officially at 1.2. And then obviously the totals dip off here. Warren at only 0.5 inch. So again, I told you, not a big deal out of this, and that's exactly what was the case with that frontal boundary that came through this morning. First Defense Doppler is quiet now after the snow came on through, and we'll put this in a time lapse. You can see the snow that has been moving from west to east today that's associated with that frontal boundary. It's all out of here, and it's going to probably be dry for the remainder of the afternoon. But here's our storm system. It's right here near Denver. That's the actual low pressure system now, and it doesn't look impressive, but it's going to ultimately reorganize as it comes across the Ohio River Valley and come up the northeast. That is the system that's going to impact us this weekend. So here we go with the watches and warnings here. So once again, a winter storm warning is in effect for all of western New York. That's all these counties shaded in pink. This goes until 6 o'clock on Sunday. Also, the winter storm warning for Warren, PA goes until 4 p.m. on Sunday. And the Cleveland Weather Service has yet to issue a winter storm warning. They will probably issue that soon. And so we'll update that as soon as they issue that. But and again, this is for heavy snow that is coming with that frontal system. So we'll show you the zoomed out version of FutureScan. This is one of our longer range computer models, and this is early on Saturday. You can see the snow already starting. The actual center of the storm is down here. Now again, you can see it's going to ride right along the northeast here. We're going to get into some of these darker blues, and again, the darker blues indicate the heavier amounts of snowfall. But the good news is we're missing this mixed precipitation line, and it looks like there's going to be some icing problems around Boston and parts of New England, so that's not going to be good over there. And we're missing that. And looks like the storm will start to pull away later on Sunday, and then it'll pull away officially by Monday. Maybe a few lake effect snow showers, but nothing of a big deal there. So here we go with the projected snowfall amounts. This is coming from Snow Machine. And again, Snow Machine has been really consistent in this and up the totals a little bit here, maybe 18 inches, higher hills, maybe 16 around Jamestown, 12 inches around Dunkirk. Lake Erie shoreline often gets the less amounts or the lower amounts of snow. So I'm going to say probably a good 10 to 18 inches. That's a good bet here. And again, I think the 18 inches is going to be closer to the south, closer to the storm center and on the highest hills. So 10 to 18 is our snow projection. We may have to revise this before the day is over with as we get new data. If we revise this, we'll of course update you on that if we do have to revise it. And these are the wind chills by Sunday evening. Look at this. We're going to be well below zero, 15 below zero. This is the feels like temperature on Sunday. This is just after 7 o'clock, 10 below zero in Dunkirk, 12 below zero in Erie. So it's going to get insanely cold, dangerous wind chills. You obviously don't want to be out in that at any length of time. Here's the news now, Cam. You can see the cloudy skies 29 with a west wind to 10 creates a wind chill of 20. So at least it's not feeling as cold as it has been the past couple days. We'll go zone by zone for you, and you can see here right in the inland valleys here, 29 around Jamestown, 27 Little Valley. Any snow comes to an end for the afternoon hours. Lake Erie shoreline a little warmer here, lower 30s. Chance for snow showers in the afternoon with a west wind. 7 days down the road we go. Here they come. And it's just going to be a rough stretch of weather here over the weekend. 10 degrees on Sunday, 6 on Monday, 6 little lonely degrees for the high. But it looks like we'll start a little warm up as we go into the next week, but it dips off again. Sports is next. Don't go away.
WNY Sports Now is powered by Phone Zone of Jamestown. With the largest inventory around, we buy and sell our own merchandise at a price that can't be beat. Have a broken screen? We'll fix it. Learn more at phonezoneshop.com.
Rejoice, sports fans! It is Friday. Welcome back to WNY News Now. I'm Norm Rodriguez with a look at sports. Tonight, with a 7:45 puck drop, the Jamestown Rebels hockey team will begin a 2-game road stretch against the New Jersey Titans. The Rebels are currently in second place in the East Division with 46 points, 10 points ahead of the Titans. Their next game on Saturday night will have a 7:30 puck drop. Also in local sports tonight, the Jamestown Jackals basketball team will play the first of 2 games in a 3-day span. Jamestown will be on the road for a rematch at 7 o'clock against the New York Court Kings, whom they beat 103-94 at home last Sunday. The Jackals will then return home for a Sunday game at 3 o'clock against the San Diego Waves. The team currently has a 1-1 record. The road to Super Bowl 53 will end on Sunday. At 3:05 p.m. on Fox, the New Orleans Saints will be hosting the Los Angeles Rams for the NFC Championship game. Both teams had first-round playoff byes, while the Saints also clinched home field advantage throughout the playoffs, edging the Rams out in a tiebreaker. Then later Sunday night at 6:40 on CBS, the Kansas City Chiefs will be hosting the New England Patriots for the AFC Championship game. Both the Chiefs and Patriots also had first-round playoff byes, and Kansas City clinched home field advantage throughout the playoffs for the AFC. And as always, the games can be watched on the NFL app. Justin and Matt, back to you.
Awesome. Some great football coming our way. Norm, thank you as always. Well, we certainly have a treat for our Friday Feel Good. A World War II vet is celebrating a big birthday today. Navy veteran Tom Butler, he's turning a whopping 100. Him and his wife will surprise him today at his church with cards and a celebration. Now, local members of the Joseph P.F.C. Dwyer Foundation took some time to take photos to send to him. We wish Mr. Butler a big happy birthday and, of course, thank him for his service.
What a good story, Justin.
Absolutely. A great way to end off a pretty busy show. Mm-hmm. And in our last few moments here, we want to introduce somebody new who's coming to WNY News now. Jonathan Schultz, welcome. You are our intern from Jamestown Community College. I know we all had Bronson, who graced us with his presence last semester. So I guess real quick, tell us about you. Where do you live, and what are you trying to do with your life?
Well, I'm
Justin
19.
has nosy personal questions. You haven't figured that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have 15 seconds to do that. So.
Hey, I'm 19. I live in Randolph. I'm going to JCC for communications. I want to do news broadcasting someday.
Awesome. Well, hopefully in the next couple months while you spend with us, we will teach you the ins and outs. See everyone back tomorrow.